Good afternoon. Welcome back to Stories and Stitches. I'm Jada. We are stitching our way through the Happy Farm Sewing Kit. this little treasure that I found on Amazon about a year and a half ago. I know several of you have got it now, and if you want to pick it up, I've got the link living in the description box. So it's the link to the Canadian listing on Amazon, but I'm pretty sure if you click that, it'll take you to whatever listing version you need, wherever you might be watching from. And it's not an affiliate or anything. It's just, that's where I found it, and that's where I've got it from. So that's the kit we're working our way through. There are 10 animals. How did we figure there were there's 10 animals, there's the barn, there's trees, there's so many little things in this kit. We started with the chicken, which still makes me snicker every time I walk into the craft room and look at it. Yesterday, we made this darling little cat, and we added a collar. So that was kind of a decision to improve upon the original thing. That the actual cat itself doesn't come with a collar, but I mean a little ribbon and a bell, and looks a little more like it's owned, it's loved. So had to add a little something. Anyway, put up a poll yesterday, and it was a tie for a little while, but eventually the duck won. So we are going to stitch up the duck today. I'm super excited. And the little pile of things, the little list of extras that I'd like to have on the table when we do one of these is growing little bit by little bit, which is also fun. I love that. So let me pop into the chat and say hello. We've got Jessica Rabbit, we've got Beth, we've got Dee, we've got Marlene. Mr. InStitches is here too, I know that. Hi, so nice to have you guys here. I think this is turning into this little crafty side quest. I think I mentioned in one of the posts this morning that I'm almost thinking like having this much fun with a kit that's really made for kids must be illegal somehow. But I can't believe how much fun I'm having with this kit. I cannot believe how much delight it is bringing me. And I can't believe how well made it is. So if you are looking for something to do with the kids or other adult friends or with teenagers or even with senior citizens for Easter or any other just for the heck of it get together, this is such a good kit. It is such a fun little thing. I'm going to open it up again, and if you haven't seen it yet, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I'm not sponsored or anything. This is my honest to goodness, legit recommendation. It is just so great. So let's head down. Charlie's here. Hello, Becky. Ladies, so glad you're here. All right. Hello, waiting impatiently for my delivery guy, Becky. Oh my gosh. I hope he arrives right in the middle of the stream. That would be perfect. And the Steam sale starts tomorrow. I know, very excited. So much great stuff happening. Don't you just love the spring? It just kind of like boosts you all over again. Okay, I'm going to bring us down to the craft table so you can all see what I've got on the table. And here we go. So I've got the kit ready to go. Got my two little mascots from yesterday. I think I'm going to have them hanging around somewhere. All right, so we have found so far, the kit's got just about everything you could possibly use in it, but I do recommend having your own favorite pair of scissors because the child-friendly ones that come in the kit, while adorable and that do work, they're not as great as just your own. And since you're probably an adult, you can handle your own. So I'd recommend having your own. The eyes need to be glued on. So I've got my trusty glue gun for that. Highly recommend the glue gun. I will plug that in a moment. And as we learned yesterday, adding some embellishments makes this even more fun, if that's even possible. So to that end, I now have a little emergency craft bowl going. This has got just any little bits and bobs that I see in the craft stash that I think might be useful for the rest of this little series. None of it necessarily needs to be used, but if I see something cute, you know what I'm saying, all the little tiny things that you kind of accumulate, the little tail ends of this and that, or small little cabochon, or little charms, or little buttons or beads, or just little things that you don't really know what else to do with. I would kind of keep them in one little container like this, and some of them might find their way onto one of these little animals over the course of this. So without further ado, let's get back into the Happy Farm sewing kit. And I've got my little bag of stuffing up front. I've got the googly eyes, and I think our duck is like our chicken. The duck needs one eye. So before I put this aside, I will pull out one eye for our duck. There we go, one eye. And I'll put that aside. And I will pull out this lovely little thing. So it comes with all this stuff. These are the scissors, which are really pretty, and they're also very comfortable, but they're child friendly, so they do cut, but not really well, so I prefer having my own available. I keep it comes with these two darning needles, which I have found have been more than sufficient for the project, so I'll keep maybe this one out. I keep the thread in it just so I can find them easily, but I don't need to. And then it came with a ton of really nice embroidery floss. I'll probably need the yellow, so I'll pull the yellow out. I might need more, I don't know, but I'll pull out the yellow for now. I'll keep that close at hand. And all of the remaining. So once again, we've done the chicken, we've done the cat, we've still got the barn to do, the bunny, which we're gonna have to do before Easter, let's face it, the little dog. These are so cute. And now I'm looking at them with a different thought in my head, because I'm thinking about ways that they could be embroidered, or not embroidered, but embellished. Not that they needs it, it's just that now that's in my head. This turkey is so funny. The little sheep, I'm really looking forward to making the sheep. It's so cute. The horse was a contender for today, but ultimately the Ducky won out. There's a pig. See, you know what? I've just noticed now his little curly tail. I didn't even see that before. Oh my gosh. The cow, which I think is so sweet. I love the big nose on the cow. Trees, there are even a couple of trees to do. And then of course, our little duck that we're gonna do today. So, little Ducky. Let's get these guys up and out of the way. Give myself a little bit of space. Can I just say, look how man, you flip it over. You see that perfectly die cut little piece. There's no cutting. All the holes are already there for you. There's something so enjoyable about doing a craft that really doesn't require a tremendous amount of thinking. All right. So I'm going to put my little package to the side. And here we go. What have we got? So, these little things are so cute. So this is Duck. We are doing Duck today. This is what the instructions have to say. So first of all, let's make sure we've got all the pieces, everything we need. So we've got the duck pieces. I'm going to get all these to the side, everything that came out of that. So duck front and duck back. That is definitely the duck back. This is the duck front because it's got the holes for the wing in it. So duck front and duck back. We need piece number 1, which is the wing. So there's the piece number 1, that's the wing. Piece number 2, that's the bill, his little duck bill. Oh, and they actually stitch it right onto something. That's interesting. Okay. And then 3 and 4 are the little feet, which could not be cuter if they tried. I love the way these look. They're identical, absolutely identical. So 2 feet, a beak or a bill in this case, and a wing, and the front and back pieces. So I'm going to put these guys together, and let's make sure. I'm going to take a little picture of this because I like doing this. This is so fun. So I've got my needle and thread, my eye. I'm going to take a little photograph because I love doing this for posterity's sake. I just think this is so cute. And don't mind me while I take a quick shot on my camera here. Perfect. Okay. So, here we go. I need needle and just the yellow thread. I need a little stuffing. I need one eyeball and the scissors. So we're good. Let's see if these guys can sit up here and stay out of the way. I'm going to follow the instructions. But the most important thing, a cup of tea. Oh, Ms. Rabbit, good point. I wish it had had two ducks, one with feet and one floating in the water. That's cute. Of course, then we'd need a little pond. And you've already thought of that. You'd have to crochet your duck a pond. You know what? It's true. If you leave off the feet, Jessica Rabbit has a great point. If you leave off the feet, it's a floating duck. So if you wanted to use this in a, see, the whole point of this is not that they're not just cute toys. They're not just great bag charms. If you add like a keychain or like a charm holder or something, you can also use these any way you want. So depending on your end goal, this would also be a cute little floating duck. If you leave the feet off, it's a floating duck. You make a great point. I like it. I'm going to make it as designed I'm going to make it according to the instructions, because I do like the idea of the walking duck. But now you're making me think that a version of this floating would be cute too. Another thought for another day. Okay. Thread up the needle. All right, I've done that. And it looks like the first thing we want to do is sew the wing onto the front. Oh, and the beak. We want to sew the beak and the wing onto the front. So let's do that. Oh, the wing is number one. So let's do that first. I've got leftover cut thread from when I did our chicken. So I will sew on the beak, or I should say I'll do the wing and then the beak. So they want you to do all of the front stuff first. So I'm going to start down here. I'm going to leave some tail out the back. And then I can knot it up when I get around to the beginning again. So not too much. I'll just hold it out of the way. Ah, all the holes line up. I've not seen too many things that are this well. You know, usually when you get something where you're, it's like it's a punch out. So you press it out of something because it's pre-punched or pre-perforated, or there's a pre-holes drilled. You know, when you get like something that you need to put together, it's very rare that things are this perfectly aligned. I feel like sometimes there's a little bit of misalignment, a little bit of jiggling. This is the part of the immense enjoyment I get out of this, is that everything is so perfectly lined up. It's actually quite a treat to look at. Shell's here too. Hi, Shell. Shell's multitasking today. I am so glad so many of you are here. This is so fun. This trip into simple crafting is so important for your brain. It's good for your mental health. The kids are not gatekeepers. Just because this is designed and easy enough for kids does not mean that it's not, something that could be enjoyed by older people, like teenagers or adults or seniors. And I was saying the last couple times that I think this would be great for seniors. If you want to sit with some senior family members, or you hang out at an old folks home on occasion, this is a great little kit to bring with you, because it's easy to hold, it's easy to do the sewing. And if you're, suffering or know people suffering from the sort of like dexterity issues, which, is very typical the older we get, this doesn't really require a lot of dexterity. So it's really just enjoyable to sit and do. You've got this cute, bright colored thing smiling at you the whole time. I think it's great. So great for kids, great for anybody. There's the wing on. I think that was pretty much a perfect amount of thread. So I'm just going to tie that off, and I'm not even going to trim it. I'm just going to leave it. It's going to end up on the inside of the duck anyway. So knotted perfectly. And now the beak. So the beak also gets stitched onto the front. That is so cute. I wonder, it's interesting that they, maybe for strength, I'm looking at like the previous thing. So the tail is bigger than the beak. And the tail is not, so it sort of sits on its own. This beak sits on its own. So does the comb, the feet. I think it's interesting that they chose to give this duck the beak shape, the bill shape on both the front and the back, and to give you a piece to stitch down. That makes it very strong. I wonder why they chose to do that. Not complaining, think it's great. I just think it's interesting. Okay, I need to pull out, I guess I'll pull out enough that I can stitch not just the beak down, but also go all the way around the duck when I'm finished. So let's not knot up our thread. Very nice. There, that ought to do it. I don't know how much I just cut. Let me take a look here. That's about, if I hold it to my nose, it's over a yard. So I've snipped over a yard of the embroidery floss. Little sip of tea. Okay, let's put this beak on. I love sort of the chaos of this little collection here growing. All right, I'm going to start somewhere back here, I think. Sure. And same thing, I'm gonna leave a little oh, wait a minute. Would it be, can I do that thing where you start here, do this, and then continue? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start stitching down the bill, and then when I get to here, I'm going to, oh wait. Shouldn't it want to be, what's the point of having holes in the back of the beak on the back side if you're not also going to stitch through that? I think that's a slight error in the instructions. Let's take a close look here. So step 1, thread the needle, did it. Step 2, stitch on the wing. Definitely, there's only one wing and it only goes on side 1, so that's done. Put 2 on the front body. So that's 2, that's the bill, and they sort of insinuate that you would stitch it onto just the front, but are you supposed to stitch all the way around, or just see, because if you only stitch the bill to the front, like I was just going to stitch it to the front and then put the back on and start stitching all the way around the rest of the duck, and then around the side, you wouldn't have any stitching showing through to the back. And just because I'm a bit of a stickler, there is this at the back. Like they've got holes all the way through the back piece. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stitch that through all 3 sides. So instead of putting it on in step 2, I'm going to put it on in step 3. So that's what I'm doing. You can do whatever you like, but I think that will look nicer just because I want that stitching to be show through all the way to the front and the back. So to that end, I'm going to sort of structure this a little bit. I'm going to skip over the rest of step 2 and go directly to step 3. The eye goes on last. I'll get my scissors out of the way. The feet the feet go down here, so I won't get down there until a little ways, and the feet will be sandwiched in between the back and the front, okay? The bill is going to go on the front and not be sandwiched between the 2. So then I'm going to do like I've done with the other ones. I'm going to start back here, leave this opening for the stuffing when I get back around to it, and then I'll just kind of add stuff as I get there. So I'm going to pull them apart, come from the inside so that I can do that little string tie thing. Get this out of my way. I got my pieces ready to go, and then I'm going to hold that out of the way. I'm going to start sewing through both the front and the back. And the first thing I come to is going to be the beak. So I'm going to come up, and how am I going to address this? I've got these extra holes here. I'm trying to figure this out all in one shot. So I go all the way around, and if I do this, I end up here. If I do this, I end up here. I will worry about that when I get to it. I think I have an idea. We'll see. Yeah, I don't want to do the stitching twice either, Ms. Rabbit. I kind of want there to be this nice, even, uninterrupted thing. I think I know what I'm going to do, but I have to get there first, and then I'll see if it works. There's definitely a way to do it. I also, though, I don't want to do it the way it suggests, where you just stitch the bill onto the front, because then you end up with all these unused holes back here, and I don't think I like that. So I'm going to figure out a way to make it better. That's where the adult part comes into stitching up a kid's kit. Lovely, perfectly aligned holes. Just a dream. So I'm gonna get all the way around the head. And when I get to the beak, I think I may have it figured out. We'll see. We'll see how good my little brain is at this puzzle. Becky says, I can't wait to do these. Becky, they're so fun. I can't wait for you to do them too. They're such a nice little palette cleanser. Oh, it's tax season. Oh yeah? Here, make one of these. Oh, you know, my job's really getting me down. It's end of year accounting. Oh yeah? Make one of these. Perfect palette cleanser. Okay, here's where my idea comes in. Oops, what did I just do? I got carried away. All right, where's my beak? Here's my beak. So let's see what holes it covers. It covers, so this one is still open, so let me do that one. So I'm going to come back up through here. All right, so here's my plan. I'm going to go stitch, 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 stitch all the way back around here. Then take my needle and slide it. I'm going to try and be sneaky. I'm going to slide it through and out to the bottom. Or will I come out 1, 2, 3? Let's start. Let's see how this goes. Unless I go this way and then up and then back down, all the way down and around and then back down. Okay, let's go all the way around. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So I'm not going to do this end one yet. I'm going to back up and go around the beak. Becky says, I almost wish there were 2 beak pieces. You know what? I think that would have made for a nice finish on the other side. But I get that this is kind of a front facing project. Like there's, for example, you know, you could put an eye on both sides and then it looks like sort of a 2-sided duck. So I get that they're kind of just doing like oh, this is just like a one-sided thing, which is why I think it's kind of fun for like a bag charm or, you know, whatever else you might have in mind for it. I've got some ideas. Mr. InStitches and I have been thinking about some ideas. So yeah, I think I've got a working project for all of these little pieces. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to come back up through here. And I like the idea of going down through this top hole again, but I'm not going to go all the way through the duck. So I'm going to just press the duck in half. I'm going to come to the middle. So I'm going to go into the middle of the duck. I think you guys can see that. So I'm in the middle of the duck, so I've stitched all the way around, and now I'm going to come out this hole. So because I've gone into this hole twice, I'm going to use a hole down here twice as two. Now, I've done that in the middle, so there's nothing, like I did that in the inside of the duck, if that makes sense. And now I'm going to continue. And I think that solves our problem, ladies. So I stitched into here, went all the way around the duck, but I didn't do this last hole. I went to here, came back to here, went in again through that first hole, brought the needle through the middle of the duck, out the second last hole of the beak, and then continued. And now it's nice and neat and tidy, and that stitches the beak on. And we've used all of the stitches on the back. That looks really nice, nice and tidy. So there we go. Beak puzzle complete. And now I can just chill until I get down to the feet. I think I'll have a little sip of tea just to celebrate that. Oh, so satisfying. All right, where am I going to put these feet? Let's see here. Looks like they've got them positioned pretty much in the bottom middle of the body. So I'm just coming around the bottom front edge here. All right, let's take a pause. That is just going to be tucked in the middle. And where's that? There we go. That's my tail for tying. So here we go. Little feet. Oh, I mean, they're so cute. They've got them showing at the bottom. So there's two, and then maybe you don't want them too close together. So maybe those two? Yeah. So I've got, it looks like these share a hole, then there's two empty holes, and then these share two holes. So that's how I've got mine separated. I think that looks pretty good. All right, so let's continue. And I'll get across the feet. I also just love, sort of, because these are machine, probably laser cut holes, not only does it make it such a delight to sew through, but it gives you that perfect even stitching look, which is just in and of itself such a satisfying thing. All perfectly evenly spaced stitches. So enjoyable. It just looks so, I don't know, there's something that your brain just kind of goes, thank you. So that's foot number one on, and then I'm just going to make sure that these little holes align. And here comes foot number two. And that's the feet done. Woo! Okay, so now all I have to do is get up and around the tail. And I love that duck tails are such an integral part of their body. They're not like an extra bunch of feathers that stick out the end. I mean, they do have extra feathers, but they just, it's like their whole body looks like a little canoe. All right, I'm gonna pause, and for stuffing, that also means it's time to plug in my trusty little glue gun. All right, glue gun is plugged in and heating. Now it's time to do a little stuffing. So, you know, it barely looks like I've made a dent in this, and really, I guess I haven't. There's a lot more stuffing in here than you think, and you really don't need much stuffing for each of these little characters because they're flat, you know? So I want to keep this little tie up and out of the way. I'm going to stuff the head first. So can I open this up? Keep this tie out of the way. Yes, I can. There we go. Okay. Neck's a little narrow, so might need a trusty crochet hook to get some stuffing up in there. Or, well, no, maybe not. The baby finger might do the job. Yeah, a little bit more. There, I think that's enough for the head. Don't want that to look too stretched. This stuffing is so ready to pull apart and be like pulled into smaller pieces that you can sort of, you go to squish it into a space and your finger goes right through it. Maybe a little bit up here in the tail. And a little bit more. All right. I think that's enough. Don't want to overstuff it. And now the trick of keeping the stuffing tucked in while I continue to sew. Here we go. Resume stitching. So I do a few stitches, tuck the stuffing in. All right, and in order to knot these together, so I've got one stitch left back here, so I'm going to go in through here, but not all the other side because I started coming from the other side. I'm going to bring it out like this, so both my tails are coming from the inside. I'll knot them together. I'm definitely going to trim this because there's a lot of good sewing thread left in that. So tie that once and tie this again. There we go. And trim. And then I'm going to pull these into the body. And if I'm lucky, I can just slip my needle in between these stitches and just kind of grab those little tails and poke them back in. There we go. All right. Little Ducky is all stitched together. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Okay. The smell of the warm glue gun fills the air, which means it's time to add an eye. I noticed that this eye is like a little bit dented, but I don't think that really bothers me too much. I'm going to see if I can just get the dent out, or if it's just kind of part of the manufacturing of it. Might be. Not that I think it matters a whole lot. It gives him kind of a little divot. All right, I'm going to put his eye in. According to our instructions, it sits kind of forward on the head, but of course you can put your eye anywhere you want. Definitely decide where you want it. It really does change the look of the face depending on where you put the eye. He looks like a Dali painting if you put it all the way back here. Put it all the way forward and he looks like a proper duck. Put it too low and he looks like a little cartoon character. I think I like it about there. So that's kind of close to what this suggests. Hold that in place for a second. Charlie's not going to use the stuffing on hers, and Jessica Rabbit left hers unstuffed as well. You know what? That's another thing. Depending on what you want to do with it, you don't even need to use the stuffing. I like the slightly three-dimensional quality that it gives it. Again, because I have a little project in mind, which you guys will be privy to once we get closer to the end of this little stitching series. Oh my gosh, so stinking cute. Okay, I love the duck. I think it might be my favorite so far. I mean, all three of these are so darn cute. We did do everything, right? Beak, wing, feet, stitched together, added the eye, knotted up. Yes, we are done. Okay, so, I mean, I love ducks. Ducks make me laugh so hard. Chickens are funny, ducks are adorable. So I love them all. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a parent playing favorites here, but I do adore the duck. There's something about the duck shape, the happy yellow bright color. They're all so cute. I think he's so cute. Part of me wants to add something, like an embellishment of some sort. And I was picturing him in red rain boots, but I love his little feet. I don't think I want to cover his little feet. So I may not add anything at all. I mean, what do you guys think? If this is like, I mean, I feel like he's pretty perfect just on his own. The cat really did need a collar, but I don't know. Does the duck need anything? Jessica Rabbit says, the other morning I had a giant bag of stuffing out, Charlie, and Amber was looking into it. I told him, you don't need that, and looked at me and said, well, you could use more. I have extra stuffing, so in the event that I need more, I've got it handy, but based on how these have been going so far, like I wouldn't have wanted to put any more stuffing into this duck than I did. Like I don't want to, you definitely don't want to overstuff these little characters, and you really don't have to add anything if you don't want to. You like the boots idea? I know. A newspaper bag. He looks like he delivered newspapers circa 1958. Mr. InStitches is pulling in an old thought. A newspaper bag. He looks like he delivered newspapers. A newspaper bag. Where would you put the newspaper bag? Maybe an umbrella. I know. I was thinking an umbrella too, Becky, but I was like, would you tuck it under his wing? Would it just be kind of, I don't think he needs anything. I agree. Guys, I think the general consensus is that this duck is adorable and doesn't need anything. The cat needed something. I don't think the duck needs any direct embellishments. So, just like the chicken, I don't think the duck needs any direct embellishments. So I think I'm gonna leave him. I think he looks just peachy the way he is. I like how I love the shape of the wing and the way the beak went on. I think stitching it on, so just so you can sort of see there, if you can sort of see the stitching on the back of the beak. I wanted all of those holes to be used on the back as well. I didn't want to not use the holes on the back side of the duck. And the instructions just have you kind of sew the beak to the front and then go with the rest. But I wanted that stitching to continue all the way out through to the other side. So I think that was a good switch up to the original instructions. Shell says, super cute and adorable, just as is. But I could also see you wearing a shower cap and holding a towel. The options are a shower cap. Yeah, a little rubber ducky wearing a shower cap. How would we make a shower cap? Might have to think about that. That's cute. I like that. A beach ball. Over the shoulder, yeah. Oh, a little over the shoulder bag. I think we're going to leave our little farm duck the way he is. I think that's another thing too. As much as I was thinking how cute he'd be in little red boots with an umbrella, he's a farm duck. So the cat wearing a collar makes sense because the farm cat would have a collar on, just like the farm dog has a collar. But I don't think if your chicken looks like a regular chicken, then you can't have the duck strutting around in a pair of red boots and carrying around an umbrella because, first of all, ducks love rain, so he wouldn't necessarily want to shield himself from the rain. But secondly, that would open up questions as to why your chicken doesn't wear any clothing. I think he's a duckling. Yes, yes. I think I'm gonna leave our little duck the way he is. He's just so cute. I love him. I love him the way he is. So no extra embellishments required. So cat gets the embellishment. Chicken is also fine. Chicken's got a lot of color going on, so chicken is fine on his own. And the duck is just like adorable the way he is. So I think we're gonna leave duck as well. But that isn't to say that, you know, ideas might not come down the road. Keep them coming. If you do have any ideas post-stream, feel free to leave them in the comments section because I will peruse them. But I think for now, I'm going to leave our little duckling the way he is. He's just so cute. We have gone wild. He's perfect as he is, says Becky. I think so too. Yeah, he can push the wheelbarrow, Mr. InStitches says. I think our little duckling is just perfect the way he is. So duckling done. Okay, that's 3 of this dozen or so little stitchathon packages from this kit. Oh, this is just so much fun. I will do what I'm going to continue to do the poll. So once we stitch one up, I will do a little image poll over on the posts tab with 4 new options, and I'll just keep doing it until we're down to 3 and then down to 2, and then we'll only have 1 left. So we'll just keep voting on which one goes next. So I will have 4 new images of the next 4. I'm just going to randomly select them, but 4, one of them will definitely be the rabbit. I think I will include the rabbit in the next go around, but there's so many cute ones still. So we'll put up 4. You guys can vote on which one comes next. Doesn't matter to me. So you pick the one you actually want to see done, because we're going to do them all, but you know, whatever order they come in, I don't care. And then that'll be the next one we do. Not sure when. Like I said, these streams are kind of, you know, fly by the seat of your pants. I think they're probably going to be an afternoon, like, you know, I'm in a Canadian time zone. So like, it's usually going to be an afternoon affair for me. That could be evening for you. It could be morning for you, depending on where you are. But past that, I don't know what days. It's just sort of whenever I have time and whenever I've got the ability to flick on the cameras and go. So keep an eye on your notifications. And you guys can catch the next one. I will definitely post that poll though. That is definitely going up. I will make this a picture that'll be the thumbnail for the video, so you can come back and take a look at it. And if you get your kit or you're putting it together later and you're questioning the beak sewing, because I did change it. I did change it from the instructions, and frankly, I like the way mine comes together better than what they suggest in the instructions. I'll make that a little chapter. So if you want to come back and just see the duck sewing, I'll add a little chapter to the stream so you can come back and see the beak, the bill, sewing of the bill sewing, something like that. It'll be, anyway, yeah. Oh, and thanks, Dizzy, my sweater. Got my little rabbit sweater on. Okay, my darlings, thank you again for joining me. This was fun. These just keep getting better and better and better. I love this little collection that's growing, and they're such a nice size. Like, that is not small. What is that, like 5-6 inches tall? It covers my hand. That is not small. These are substantial little sewing packages of joy. I just love it. What a fun little kit. Like I said, if you want to pick up the kit yourself, it's available on Amazon. I've got the direct link in the description box. It's not an affiliate link or anything, but that's where I got mine. And you can sort of join in all the fun. I do have some additional plans for this little series. I think I'm going to get extra creative towards the end. I want to do a couple of the images that they have included in this kit, but they don't actually have the little stitching kits for. So I want to try and make a tractor, and I want to try and make the wheelbarrow myself. I want to design those and make them look almost exactly like they have stitched, like on the actual. So there's the tractor, and there's the wheelbarrow, and I want to try and design felt stuffies just like these that are to scale, that look exactly like their drawings, because I feel like that would just complete it so nicely. It's also, the tractor's also on the back. I think that looks really cute. That's another nice shot of it there. I think it's cute that they included those 2 images, but didn't actually make little stuffy kits out of them. So I'm going to. That's going to be my little challenge when we get to the end of this. So after I sew through all of these, and as we go, obviously, like little things like, you know, how to, like the refinement of the sewing, that's all kind of coming out, which I think is kind of fun, which is why I want to do them all before I get to those. It's just for fun. This is just, it's just so much for fun. So that's what's coming. And like I said, I'll post a poll. You guys get to pick which one we do next. I don't think I've missed anything. Did you get the other kit? Not yet, Ms. Rabbit. I haven't got the other kit yet, but it is on my wish list. And I have to reserve some money for the Steam sale tomorrow, so I'm not sure when I'm getting the next kit. Anyway, have a great night, everybody. Stay safe and crafty. Remember, you get to stitch your own story. That's what I'm doing here. And it is so much fun. I'm so glad you guys are along for the ride. Take care. We will see you soon. Keep an eye on the notifications. Check out the post tab, and I will be sure to add chapters, and I'll post the poll after I've done that, so you know I've done it. All right. Take care. Stay lovely. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.